Hey, what's up? How y'all doing? Yeah, it's me again. Yeah, I noticed that most of the movies on TV that the kids watch are so violent these days. You ever notice that? And I just have to mention that because, well, I just have to mention that because it's just not natural for a movie to be that violent. It's just not natural for that to happen. It's just not natural. It's just not natural for that to happen. I mean, but that's how it is. But that's that's like how it is, though. I mean, the the movie the movies on TV are so violent nowadays, especially the kids shows like Power Rangers. I mean, that is that's like so violent. Why would you ever watch something like that? I mean, good lord. I mean, Power Rangers is good. I mean, if you understand the premise of it, you understand the premise of it. You understand the premise of it. I mean, why would people actually watch that? I mean, it doesn't track with me. I mean, when Power Rangers first came on the scene on TV on in the United States, I remember because I used to watch it with my cousins, my nieces, my nephews, and they would go to school, and all of a sudden you'd hear about one kid kicking another kid in the head and all this other stuff. I mean, it's just really weird that a good TV show like that you that your kids watch would actually be would actually be too violent for them to actually watch. I mean, it's like it's like it's like letting your kid it's like giving your kid a ticket to a showdown, right? And telling them, oh, you're gonna stand on this side of the street and you won't get shot. No, because a bullet has no name on it. Just like a violent act has no name on it. It just happens. It's a moment in time that happens. And people should realize that. I mean, when you say things on the internet, even though you're mad at someone, it's still a moment in time. It's a moment in time that they can't get back, that you said something heinous or critical about them, and they feel some kind of way about it. I mean, you just can't do it. It's like, at least with Power Rangers, you got like their actions are scripted. They don't really make contact with each other. Stuff like that. It's only what they do is do they do kind of martial arts moves, but they use stock footage from other shows like Jew Ranger and Die Ranger and you know other shows from Japan. And what they do is they dub them over in English so that you would understand them, but they never make contact with each other. And what I'm saying is, kids today and parents should watch the shows that the kids watch, so if they know what what's going on with their kids. I mean, come on. I went to school with these guys. I went to school with this guy named Mike. Mike was 12. Mike was from another country. Mike was 12 years old and in the fourth grade. And I'm gonna tell you, Mike was one of them people that would literally goes around starting trouble just so he can get into a fight. So one day he goes home, right? He makes it all the way home, and he beat for one for some odd reason he beats up on his sister and his cousins, and I'm wondering what the. I come home from work and I come in my front door only to find someone knocking at my back door. So I go down to check it out, and it's this little girl, and she's at my back door. She's saying, "Well, um, can you come around? Can you come quick?" So I go around there to see what's going on, right? So I figure because it's not really an emergency, so I figure I'd shoot around there and see what's going on. And I get around there, and he done already. I mean, this guy, I had to physically restrain him because I get over there and he's literally kicking the snot out of his nieces, right? His sister and brother wasn't even home yet. I'm thinking, dude, are you nuts? Right? Come to find out, he was watching Power Rangers that day. I remember because Power Rangers used to come on 8:30 in the morning, and what it is kids watch that for some odd reason. They get amped up, you know, and they get amped up and they want to kick the snot out of each other, you know. And I can't figure that out because I can watch a kung fu movie when I was little, and I never had like a violent thought when it comes down to that. I mean, I've had thoughts about how did they do that? Wow, he jumped over the house, you know, something like that. But I've never had a violent thought to where I'd want to hurt someone. I mean, that type of stuff. I mean, it's kind of weird, but I never thought about kids actually hurting each other until I started watching Power Rangers with my niece and nephew. And all of a sudden, they go to school, and me and my me and my grandfather were going to work. All of a sudden, my grandfather gets this call, and we have to go all the way back to the school. Why? Because one kid kicked another kid in the head. We thought it was somebody in our family, so we went down to the school to see what's going on. And come to find out, it's these two Oriental kids, and they're kicking the crap out of each other, right? And the teachers, they just called everybody they could think of. We get there, and my nephew comes out. He gets in the truck. My cousins come out. They get in the truck, and we leave. And all the while, we're talking on the way home. Now we're asking them, "What's going on, y'all? What's going on?" And they're telling us, "Well, we came out in the schoolyard, and these two boys first they started fighting, and then another guy, two guys started fighting." And I'm like, "Come on!" Next thing you know, it's like it was a free for all. I mean, we got there with parents everywhere. It was like, dude, my grandfather got so aggravated. He just said, "Come on, we'll come back tomorrow." So we get back there tomorrow, and all of a sudden, poof, it was like parents. So my grandfather comes in there. He's talking to the vice principal. You know, what's going on? Why do you have me down here? Is any of my kids hurt? Why am I down here? So he goes, well, we just want to make you parents uh, aware that you can't that it's a show coming. It's a show on called Power Rangers, and the kids are watching it, and they're coming here, and they're doing all kinds of things. I mean, one he actually told me that one kid came to school with a homemade pair of nunchucks, and he just actually started wailing on one kid, and I was like, "Come on!" I said, "Come on!" And nobody actually thought to call the cops on this kid. I mean, so they're two sticks tied together with what you call it, twine, but it's still a weapon though. It's still a weapon. The first pair of nunchucks wasn't put together by chains. It was what was it? A bungee cord, like a flexi cord. That's what it was. But it was like, wow, But it was a dangerous thing. But we had to take the kids home, so we took them home. We explained to them that the Power Rangers are only TV shows. They're only actors doing that, doing like kind of a dance. They're not really fighting each other. Everything is scripted. It's stunts done by stunt men, in special padded suits. So they shouldn't do it. They shouldn't try it. They shouldn't attempt it. I mean, but then you tell a kid that, and just because you said it, they're not going to obey you. They're not going to. I mean, they're going to try to do it no matter what you tell them. But then, hey, but when I went around the corner that day to check on Mike's nieces and his sister and brother were home, I had to tell them what went on. I mean, those girls showed up at my house all beat up. I was like, come on, man. And then and then he goes, we go to play basketball, and he's all brazen about, yeah, and my nieces got all huffy with me, so I had to teach them a lesson. I said, you know what? Somebody will teach you a lesson because you did something really wrong, and I'm telling your grandma. And he was like, no, don't tell my grandma. I said, I'm telling your grandma. Watch me. I waited till that lady got home. I waited and waited. Soon as she walked in, I was right there. I was like, can I talk to you for a minute? She was like, yes. I was like, let me talk to you for a minute, miss. Um, I'm gonna tell you, um, your grandson, yeah, your grandson just actually kicked the snot out of your granddaughters. I mean, like literally. I mean, his grandmother didn't do snot. I'm gonna tell you that right now. His grandma didn't do nothing. But then I told his brother and his sister-in-law, and his sister-in-law said like this. Um, Around a week after that, they took the girls and they moved to another house, and they left him by himself. They left him by himself with his grandma, Yo Deaton, and that was it for him. I mean, dude, no one wants to be with you if you're gonna be like that. I mean, I mean, you're like literally hurting people, and nobody says anything. Oh, nothing's new, Deaton. Just same old, you know. But seriously, for those kids who are listening to this, probably Power Rangers are just a TV show. It doesn't mean that you see the things on TV and you go around and you hurt other people, or you try to do the things they do, because they're trained actors and stuntmen. It's only a show. It's not meant to be. Their performances are not meant to be repeated. They're not meant to be attempted by anyone. If you're not trained to do a stunt, then you shouldn't try it. That's all I'm saying. You know? And, you know, I'm going to tell you this too. If you have any uh, younger siblings that watch Power Rangers, pull them aside and explain to them when they're watching the show. It's only a TV show. They're only actors and stuntmen. You don't, you know, explain to them the difference. between acting and reality. Because if you don't, and they hurt somebody or they hurt themselves, you're gonna feel bad. You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. I mean, dude, I like the Power Rangers more. I mean, like other people do. I mean, like, dude, come on. I mean, I use the Green Ranger as my icon, so um, I like Power Rangers. But all I'm saying is, when we're young, we can't really tell the difference between a violent act and play acting. So, I mean, it's just like when you watch those kung fu movies on TV, and they're doing all these fantastic flips and jumping over houses and stuff like that. I mean, and you think that they're doing something superhuman, but they're really not. They're really not doing that. I mean, you might you might catch a little you might catch a little pyrotechnics, like they look like they're throwing a fireball at you or something like that. They're not really doing that. I mean, they have laser effects that's drawn into the film, that's put into the film like a special effect. It's a special effect that they can use to make you seem like you're shooting lasers at somebody, you know? But people, what I'm saying is, people need to explain to their children the difference between a violent act and acting, because acting is something you do. I mean, say like I'm in a play and I'm performing a part of that play. That's acting. But if I walk up and punch somebody in the face, that's a violent act. You know what I'm saying? And that's the difference. The instance where I punch somebody in the face, that's a violent act. But the instance where I'm playing a part, or saying a line, that's just acting. It's just something that I'm doing, to help the show move along. You know, it's just like what I'm talking about now. It's like uh, the Power Rangers. They have some pretty good episodes. It used to be like at the end of each episode of Power Rangers, you get like a safety tip or something like, "Hey, always look both ways before you cross the street." The Green Ranger says, "Always be safe. May the power protect you." Something like that. You know, but you don't get that anymore. No, you don't. You don't get that anymore. They cut that segment out of the show to save money, because to make a service announcement like that, just for a few seconds, for yeah, hold on. Like I said, I'm not speaking ill of the Power Rangers. No, not at all. Nope. Not doing that. But I am going to say this. The- I'm going to say this. For a kids' TV show, it's a good show, actually. It's the parents that they don't take the time to explain to kids that you shouldn't hurt each other. You know? I can remember when we used to get service announcements at the end of those shows. But not no more, though. Uh-uh. I mean, you at least get, what is it? You don't even get that. I mean, when when I was younger, you hardly ever got a service announcement except if it was a good show like Shazam or something like that, or Jason of Star Command, where they say, "Oh wait, how do you say that? Listen here, Space Rangers, always eat your vegetables. If you want to grow up to be a big Space Ranger, always eat your vegetables." Something like that, and that's how they do it. That's how they do it. But there was always a lesson at the end of each show. You see, whether you agree or not. But I'll just end it right here since no one's talking. I'll end it right here. Later on. See ya.